Good morning, students. So, we are here today for the biology class. So, this is our first biology class for the academic year 2020. So, today in the biology class, we'll talk about the introduction regarding the biology, what all is there in the biology, what all is included in the biology. Okay, so before the introducing you all to the subject biology, let me first of all introduce myself to you all. Okay, so myself, or my name is Srimati Ashwini S. Kiledar. I have completed my MSc in botany. I have did my B.Ed as well as I have cleared SLET exam. Okay. Then I have got a work experience of 10 years, and most important thing is I am the alumni of this college. I have completed my PUC, BSc from this college only, and I am serving in the same KLE GI Bagewadi institution. Okay, then my mother tongue is Kannada. Along with that, I know Marathi, Hindi. Okay, then coming to the subject. So, subject, that is, as you all know, that is biology. So, what do you mean by this biology then? So, this term biology is derived from two Greek words, that is bios and logos. Bios or bio means life, whereas logo or logos means study. So totally biology is nothing but the study of life, or it is a study of living organisms, or you can say study of life. Okay, or you can say biology is the study of living organisms. This is the definition of biology in brief or in simple. Okay, then this biology subject you have already studied in your high school also. Okay, along with your physics, chemistry, you'll have some topics of biology also. Okay, in your high school you have studied all the basic things. In your 8th, 9th, 10th you have studied all the basic things of biology, and the same thing or same chapters or the same concepts are expanded or carry forward in the 11th and 12th standard. ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ಇದೇನು ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ನೀವು ಕಲಿತೀರಲ್ಲ ಈಗ, ಅದೇನು ಹೊಸದಲ್ಲ. ಮೊದಲ ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದು 8ನೇತೆ 9ನೇತೆ 10ನೇತೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಮುಂದಿನ ಭಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ 11ನೇತೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ 12ನೇತೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. हे जे आहे ना तुम्ही शिकता हे काय नवीन नाही आहे. तुम्ही जे 8वी 9वी 10वीमध्ये हायस्कूलमध्ये जे शिकला त्याचा पुढचा भाग आहे हे 11वी आणि 12वी. त्यामुळे काय घाबरायची गरज नाही. ಯು ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ, ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಹೋಗಿ, ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕೇಳಬೇಕಷ್ಟೆ ನೀವು. ಓಕೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತೈತಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಯಾಗ, ಮರಾಠಿ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದಪ್ಪ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 6 months ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟಿ, ಬಟ್ ಲೇಟ್ರ್ ಆನ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 6 months ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ environment, friends, teachers, etc. Okay, one tip what I like to give you is, if you are in ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಇದ್ರಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ತಿಳಿತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಡಿಕ್ಷನರಿ ತೊಗೋರಿ. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಡಿಕ್ಷನರಿ ತೊಗೋರಿ. ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ಷನರಿ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ಷನರಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಇಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬರ್ರಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೀಚರ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಲ್ಸಾಕತ್ರು ಒಂದು ಶಬ್ದದ ಅರ್ಥ ಗುರ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗುರುತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ नॉलेजನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ डाउट्सनं क्लिअर ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ओके. तसंच मराठी मीडियमवाले पण तुम्ही एक डिक्शनरी घेऊन या. ओके. त्या डिक्शनरी कसं म्हणजे इंग्लिश मराठी इंग्लिश असलेलं म्हणजे जे काय कठीण शब्द टीचर सांगतात क्लासमध्ये जे तुम्हाला कळलं नाही तर तुम्ही डिक्शनरीमधून बघू शकता, त्याला इंग्लिशमध्ये काय म्हणतात वगैरे बघू शकता. त्यामुळे तुम्हाला इझी होते. अजून एक टिप ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಟಿಪ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ NCERT ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೈಲ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಎನಿ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಟೀಚರ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್. ಪಾಠ ಹೇಳೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಸರ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ओके. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಓದೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗ್ತದೆ. जर तुम्हाला कळलं नाही तर काय करायचं, टेक्स्टबुक घ्यायचं, आणलेलं असतं क्लासमध्ये, ते जे वर्ड तुम्हाला कळलं नाही ते अंडरलाईन करून घ्यायचं. टीचर जेव्हा सांगत असतं त्याच्याबद्दल त्याचा अर्थ लिहून घ्यायचं. त्यामुळे तुम्ही जेव्हा अभ्यास करत असता तेव्हा तुम्हाला सोपं होते. नाहीतर आणि काय होते, घरी गेल्यानंतर तुम्ही अभ्यास करताना शब्द आठवत नाही तुम्हाला किंवा त्याला काय म्हणतात ते आठवत नाही. असं होऊ नये म्हणून काय करायचं, पण आधीच शब्द जे कठीण पदार्थ आहेत ना, कठीण शब्द आहेत त्याचं मीनिंग लिहून घ्यायचं. So these are the two simple tips what I wanted to tell the students. First one, that is always keep your 8th, 9th, 10th basic textbooks along with you to refer. And another thing is keep dictionary with you. With these two tips, we'll move forward to the next slide. That is, we'll talk about the brief history of biology. Okay, as I already told you, what do you mean by biology? Biology is nothing but the study of life or the study of living organisms. So here there are many more scientists who have their contribution towards biology. A few of them I have highlighted in the slide. First one is Aristotle. This Aristotle, he is a Greek philosopher and he is called as the father of biology. Okay, what did he do then? He classified living things to as air, land or water dwellers. Okay, this is what he did. So in brief you can say Aristotle is called as the father of biology. Then next personality is about the Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He was the first to use microscope and discovered microorganisms such as protozoans, etc. Next comes your Charles Darwin. Okay, he is called the father of evolution. This Charles Darwin, as you all know, he had been for the sea voyage with the help of his ship, that is HMS Beagle, and he went to Galapagos Island. Then he has many of the concepts along with him. He wrote the book on origin of species, and this origin of species will occur by natural selection. This you have studied in brief in your high school also regarding the Charles Darwin. Okay, so with this brief introduction of scientists, we will move on to the next part of this, is about the divisions of biology. So here this biology subjects may be mainly divided into two divisions, namely botany and zoology. So whatever the subject you have biology in your PUC can be further divided into two parts or two major divisions, that is botany and zoology. So botany ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಸ್ಯಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ, ಝಾಲಜಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಬಾಟ್ನಿ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಗಿಡಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ अभ्यास ಮಾಡೋದು, झाडांच्या बद्दल अभ्यास करायला बॉटनी म्हणतात. झॉलॉजी इज नथिंग बट द स्टडी ऑफ ॲनिमल्स और स्टडी प्राणिಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಅಥವಾ प्राण्यांच्याबद्दल अभ्यास करायला zoology म्हणतात. Okay, then along with this two major divisions, botany and zoology, there are different fields of study in biology. There are applied sciences which are present in biology. Those are anatomy, bacteriology, biochemistry, biotechnology, bacteriology, then histology, cytology, ecology, genetics, physiology, marine biology, ornithology, zoology, microbiology, taxonomy, anatomy, morphology, like this. There are n number of such different fields which can be studied under biology. Okay, so we will see them one by one. The first one is morphology. Then what do you mean by morphology? Morphology is nothing but it is a study of gross structures and forms of organism. Means it is structure of external features of the organism. It may be plant or animal. The study of external parts of the organism is called as morphology. Then next is anatomy. Anatomy is nothing but the study of structure of entire organism and their parts, or you can say anatomy is nothing but the study of internal parts of the organism is called as anatomy. Suppose if you take a section of the plant or an animal, whatever you see inside the parts, the study of all those parts is called as anatomy. Then next is physiology. Physiology is nothing but it is a branch of biology which studies regarding how the body and its parts work. Means physiology is a study of working of body parts or working of, it may be a plant or animal. Okay, that is nothing but physiology. Then next one is cytology. What do you mean by cytology? Cytology is nothing but the study of structure and function of the cell. It may be plant cell or animal cell. If you study a cell, that is called as cytology. Then histology. Histology is nothing but it is a study of tissues. Okay, again that tissue may be a plant or an animal. If you go to study of tissue, that is called as histology. The next one is taxonomy. What do you mean by taxonomy? Taxonomy is nothing but it is a study of classification and evolutionary relationship between organism. Means taxonomy ಅಂದರೆ ವಿಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅದು ಸಸ್ಯಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಅವನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರು ಇಡಾಕಿ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಾನಮಿ. ದ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಾನಮಿ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ nomenclature among the organism is called as taxonomy. Then next one is embryology. Embryology is nothing but the study of development and growth of organisms. It may be a plant or an animal. When you study the development of the organism or development of embryo, that is called as embryology. The next, paleontology. Paleontology is nothing but it is a study of fossils. ಉಳಿದಿರುವ ಭಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಯ, ಹಳೆಯದೊಂದು ಕಾಲೊಳಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಡೈನೋಸರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದರ ಭಾಗಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾವು, ಹೆಂಗಿದ್ದು, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಪೆಲೆಂಟಾಲಜಿ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಪೆಲೆಂಟಾಲಜಿ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ स्टडी ऑफ फॉसिल्स विच आर द प्रिझर्व्ड रिमेन्स अँड द ट्रेसेस ऑफ ऑर्गॅनिझम फ्रॉम द पास्ट. जुन्या काळातले असलेले जे प्राणी किंवा पक्षी असलेले त्यांचे जे उरलेले हे उरलेलं जे काय मटेरियल असतं त्याच्याबद्दल त्याला फॉसिल म्हणतो आपण. त्याच्याबद्दल अभ्यास करायला आपण काय म्हणायचं, पॅलेंटॉलॉजी. सो these are all the different branches of biology. Then as you all know, that is biology is nothing but study of living organism. Then the question arises, what these living organisms, the living things are made up of? Then these, as the question is, what living things are made up of? The answer is all the living things or all the living organisms are made up of cells. And this cell ಏನು ಜೀವಕೋಶ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿಲ್ಲ, that is the basic unit of all living organisms. It is the basis of all living organisms, and only living organisms have cell. Whereas these cells can be again of two types, or you can say all living organisms are made up of cells which may be either unicellular or multicellular. So unicellular means the organisms which are made up of only single cell are called as unicellular. Example, bacteria, mycoplasma, etc. Those are all unicellular organisms. That is cells or the organism made up of single cell. Those are unicellular. Then multicellular, that is the organisms which are made up of many cells are called as multicellular organisms. For example, you can take the example of insects, human body, plant body, anything, okay, which is made up of many cells is coming under multicellular organisms. Then regarding the other types of cell, you can say, that is there are basically two types of cells, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, which you have heard in your high school also, prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So first of all we will talk about the prokaryotic cell. Example for this is bacteria. So bacterial cell is coming under the prokaryotic cell, and this bacterial cell, prokaryotic cell, is going to have flagella, and the main characteristics of prokaryotic cell is here the true nuclear membrane is absent. Here simply the genetic material, what you see, the maroon color, the genetic material is thrown in the cytoplasm of the bacterial cell, and that type of nucleus is called as nucleoid. Okay, that is called as nucleoid, which is simply circular DNA. Another thing about the prokaryotic cell is the prokaryotic cell have got only ribosomes, okay, whereas the other cell organelles are absent. Okay, and the ribosomes are 70s type of ribosomes. Okay, so these are the few characters of prokaryotic cell. Coming to next is your eukaryotic cell. About the eukaryotic cell, when you say, that is human being cell is an eukaryotic. So this eukaryotic cell, what we are talking about, in human cell is an eukaryotic cell. Okay, a plant, fungi, animals have got all the eukaryotic cells. The main feature of this eukaryotic cell is here you can find membrane bound cell organelles are present, like mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, etc. Along with this, in eukaryotic cell you have got well defined nucleus. Okay, then the genetic material in eukaryotic cell is well organized into chromosomes. Okay, then a eukaryotic cell has got 80s type of ribosomes. So these are all a few peculiar features of eukaryotic cell. So when you compare an eukaryotic cell with an prokaryotic cell, you can say that prokaryotic cell is an primitive cell, whereas eukaryotic cell is an highly advanced cell, evolved cell. Okay, so next is after the animal cell. So next we will talk about, after the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, we will move on to next part, that is plant cell and animal cell. So first of all, when we talk about the plant cell, you have already studied in a high school. So plant cell is you can say has got all, is an eukaryotic cell. It has got almost all the cell organelles. The important feature of this plant cell, as you all know, it has got outer layer, wall layer, that is cell wall, which is absent in animal cell. Okay, below the cell wall you will have cell membrane, which is again a protective layer. Then inside the cell membrane you will have that is fluid filled cavity, that is called as cytoplasm. And in the cytoplasm you can see number of cell organelles are present, membrane bound cell organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast, Golgi apparatus, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, vacuole. So these are all the cell organelles which are present in the plant cell. Another thing is, a plant cell will have a single large central vacuole. As a result, nucleus is present towards the periphery or towards the wall. Okay, that is these are all the characteristics of a plant cell. So coming to next one is animal cell. So animal cell is again bounded by cell membrane, but the one thing is, in animal cell you do not have cell wall. Cell wall is absent in animal cell. Instead you will only have cell membrane, which is an protective covering. Then in animal cell you will have small number of vacuoles and you will have number of membrane bound cell organelles which are present like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, lysosomes, vacuole, Golgi bodies, etc. Okay, so this is all about the animal cell. Then coming to the difference between the plant cell and animal cell. So first difference between the plant cell and the animal cell is, here in plant cell the cell wall is present, whereas in animal cell wall is absent. Then second difference, in plant cell centriole is absent, whereas in animal cell centrioles are present. Centrioles are these are the organs for cell division, organelles for cell division. Then third difference is about the plastids or the chloroplast. Chloroplast is present in the plant cell, whereas chloroplast is absent in animal cell. Then in plant cell lysosomes are absent. Lysosomes are nothing but the suicide bags of the cell. They are absent, whereas lysosomes are present in animal cell. Whereas last difference is, there are large number of vacuoles in plant cell as well as in animal cell you will have less number of vacuoles. So this is in brief. You have seen today's class about the cell, unicellular about the cell, then about different types of cell, that is prokaryotic cell, eukaryotic cell and animal cell and plant cell. Okay, and the next part of again the basic biology will be dealt in the next class. Thank you.